The world of boxing has always thrived on debates, on whispered legends of invincibility, on the lingering question that keeps fans up at night: who is truly unbeatable? Fighters rise, champions fall, and myths are shattered in the heat of the ring. But every now and then, someone comes along who defies expectations, someone who forces even the most hardened warriors to pause and acknowledge a terrifying truth. And when the man delivering that truth is none other than Mike Tyson, a figure who once ruled the heavyweight division with a merciless grip, you know that what he says carries the weight of something more than just opinion. It's fact. It's fear. It's an unshakable reality that even the greatest must admit. Imagine standing across from a fighter so dangerous, so relentless, that even Iron Mike himself, a man who once sent opponents crumbling with a single punch, admits he would have been afraid to face him. A fighter who, in Tyson's words, gives no one a chance. No weaknesses to exploit. No hesitation in his approach. Just a storm that no opponent can survive. If you thought the age of the truly unbeatable boxer had ended with the legends of old, you were wrong. Mike Tyson isn't one to exaggerate. He has stood among giants, conquered them, and become one himself. He knows what it takes to rise through the ranks, to claim victory when the world is watching. He understands what it means to be feared, to be an unstoppable force in the ring. And now, in the twilight of his career, as he watches the next generation unfold, he has made his judgment. There is one fighter today who cannot be beaten. One man who stands above the rest, who forces opponents to rethink their careers before even stepping into the ring with him. David Benavidez. The name alone sends ripples through the boxing world, but for those who have followed his rise, it's not just a name, it's a warning. A signal that something different is happening in the sport. That a fighter with the potential to dominate entire divisions has arrived, and he's not leaving any room for doubt. Benavidez, dubbed the Mexican Monster by Tyson himself, has been on a relentless path, chasing the biggest fights, the toughest opponents, and proving with every step that he is not just another champion. He is something more. At just 28 years old, Benavidez has already carved out a reputation as one of the most feared men in boxing. He held the super middleweight division in a vice grip, forcing legends and champions alike to think twice before stepping into the ring with him. For over a year, he pursued the fight that the world wanted: a showdown with Saul Canelo Alvarez. But despite being the mandatory challenger, the bout never materialized. And when you look closer, when you listen to the whispers around the sport, you start to understand why. Canelo Alvarez is no stranger to challenges. He has taken on some of the most formidable names in the sport, fought in multiple weight classes, and cemented himself as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters of his era. And yet, when the opportunity came to face Benavidez, when the natural course of boxing demanded that the two warriors meet, the fight never happened. Some say it was politics. Others claim it was financial negotiations. But in the shadows of these justifications, there is an undeniable question. Was it something more? Was it fear? Benavidez, growing tired of waiting, decided he wasn't going to let the sport dictate his future. If Canelo wouldn't face him, then he would move on, stepping up to the light heavyweight division, a realm where only the most elite dare to fight. And this is where things got even more terrifying. Because rather than struggle, rather than falter under the added weight, Benavidez only became more dominant. First, he dismantled Alexander Gvozdyk, a former world champion with a reputation for skill and toughness. Then, he took on David Morrell, another dangerous contender, and proved that no matter the weight, no matter the opponent, his presence in the ring was an inevitability. And now, He stands at the precipice of something historic. He is the mandatory challenger for Dmitry Bivol, the undefeated Russian technician who shocked the world by defeating Canelo Alvarez. Bivol, known for his precision, his defense, his ability to neutralize opponents with surgical efficiency, is seen as one of the most disciplined and intelligent fighters in the sport. But despite his dominance, despite the aura of technical mastery he carries, Tyson believes he too will fall. "I like him against everybody," Tyson said when asked about Benavidez's chances against the best. And then came the statement that sent chills down the spine of boxing fans everywhere. "He's so underrated but so overpolarized here. Listen, I'd be afraid to fight him too if I was in that division. No one even has a chance against him, and I'm talking facts." When a man like Mike Tyson, who has never been known to shy away from confidence, who has never hesitated to call out pretenders, says that no one has a chance, it's not something you can ignore. It's not an opinion. It's a declaration. But here's where things get even more intriguing. Despite Benavidez being in advanced talks for a Bivol fight, whispers from the team suggest that negotiations haven't actually begun. And now, with Bivol potentially looking at a trilogy fight with Artur Beterbiev, a brutal, relentless puncher with the power to end fights in an instant, Benavidez finds himself at yet another crossroads. Does he wait for his shot at Bivol? Or does he continue his destruction tour by taking on the UK's Callum Smith, another highly respected name in the division? The answer is yet to be revealed. But one thing is certain: no matter who stands in front of him, no matter what obstacles are placed in his way, David Benavidez is coming. And when a fighter of his caliber sets his sights on a goal, the sport has no choice but to adapt. The question isn't if he will get his chance. The question is, who will be brave enough to stand in front of him when that time comes? And if Mike Tyson, the man who made an entire generation of fighters fear his name, believes that no one can beat him, what does that say about the future of boxing? The storm is here, and no one is safe. But here's the thing: if the storm is already here, why are so many still pretending they don't hear it? Why do the biggest names in the sport hesitate when Benavidez's name is mentioned? If he is just another fighter, if he is not the unstoppable force Tyson claims, then why aren't the biggest warriors of our time lining up to test themselves against him? Because deep down, they know. Boxing is not just about skill. It's not just about technique or conditioning. It's about something deeper, something primal. It's about the unspoken moments when a fighter looks across the ring and senses something different, something unnatural. It's about that split-second realization that the man in front of them doesn't fight like everyone else, that he doesn't move with hesitation, that he doesn't break under pressure, that he isn't just another opponent. He is a reckoning. And the truth is, boxing has seen reckoning before. When Mike Tyson was young, when he stepped into the ring as a force of nature, people didn't just lose to him, they crumbled. They broke before the fight even began. His presence was a psychological weapon just as much as it was a physical one. Fighters trained for him, studied him, strategized against him, but when they finally stood in front of him, when they saw the intensity in his eyes, when they felt the weight of his punches, they understood there was nothing they could do. And now, decades later, Tyson sees the same thing in Benavidez. The whispers in the sport say it all. Canelo Alvarez, the king of the super middleweights, should have fought him. But he didn't. The reasons will never be fully explained, and maybe they don't have to be. The result is enough. Canelo fought dangerous opponents, but not Benavidez. And so Benavidez moved up. Dmitry Bivol, the technical master, should be signing the contract right now. But negotiations have stalled. And if Bivol chooses to fight Artur Beterbiev instead, it will be seen as a logical choice. A fight between two undefeated champions, two dominant forces in the light heavyweight division. A trilogy bout that fans will celebrate. But underneath that, the same question will linger. Is he avoiding Benavidez? Because here's what happens when fighters face Benavidez. They start confident. They train for his power, for his relentless pace, for the non-stop pressure that comes from every direction. They believe they have the answer. And then the fight begins. And slowly, round by round, the reality sets in. They can't stop him. It's not that they aren't skilled. It's not that they don't land punches. It's that no matter what they do, no matter how hard they hit him, he keeps coming forward. His punches don't stop. His footwork doesn't slow. His energy doesn't fade. This is what makes legends. This is what Tyson saw in himself. And now, the greatest knockout artist in history is telling the world there is no one who can beat this man. So now the real question is, who will dare to try? Because every moment that passes, every fight that is postponed, every negotiation that stalls, only makes the truth more undeniable. Benavidez is waiting, and no one is safe.